The voicemail arrived before the candles even melted. "We're in Paris," Dad said, laughing like it was a joke. "We just wanted to keep you busy." His voice sliced through the room. I'd spent months planning this. Balloons, a trembling cake, every chair polished, every place set. My living room looked like an event studio. My phone buzzed in my hand. Their laughter echoed from another continent. 3 months of work, my savings, my trust, gone in one breath. I didn't scream. I didn't call back. I stood there and watched the band pack up. Then I made a plan they would never see coming. My name is Maya Brooks. I'm 24. I grew up in Columbia, Missouri, the kind of town where family dinners meant everything. I worked as an accounting clerk at a small firm. 8 hours of spreadsheets, then 4 hours planning everyone else's happiness. They called it helping out. I called it keeping the peace. 3 months earlier, Addison turned 16. Sweet 16. I told myself this was my chance to matter. I threw myself into making the night perfect. I booked a restaurant on the river with string lights and a soft jazz band. I hand-wrote every invitation. I folded napkins into tiny stars. I spent half my savings on pink decorations because Mom said she hates purple. At lunch, I'd sneak calls to the manager while my boss glared. "Make it quick, Maya," he barked. I finished apologizing for caring too much. At night, balloons piled against the wall. Sticky notes clustered my desk. I glued photos of Addison's first bike, the snowman we built, the cookie fight in the kitchen, memories I thought still mattered. Mom hovered while I worked. "Addison likes fancier cakes. Maybe 3 layers, she'd say, tapping my receipts. Dad texted, "Don't skimp on the food. She deserves the best." They never offered to pay. I didn't ask. That was my thing. Fix, fund, forgive. When I texted Addison for input, she replied, "Cool. No thanks. No question, just cool." I told myself it was teenage attitude. A small, quiet thought whispered, "Maybe they only notice me when I'm useful." The night before the party, I packed everything. Balloons, candles, the photo album wrapped in tissue. I imagined her face when she walked in. I imagined gratitude. The next morning, Mom called. "Don't forget to confirm the restaurant," she said. "Addison's counting on you." Those words used to make me proud. That day, they made me tired. The week leading up felt like walking on glass. Every time I thought I'd done enough, Mom found something new. Pink roses, not carnations. Dad. "Don't cheap out on the band, Maya. This is her big night." Each sentence meant another charge on my debit card. At work, my focus cracked. My coworker Tara dropped by my cubicle, handed me coffee, and said softly, "The ones you give everything to are the ones who take it for granted." Her words stuck. By 6 that evening, the restaurant looked perfect. Soft music, pink balloons swaying under string lights. The river caught the last of the sunset. The Happy Sweet 16 banner shimmered. I texted, "We're ready. Can't wait to see you." No response. Addison was due at 6. Mom and Dad promised they'd be early. The band tuned. The servers hovered. I called Addison. Straight to voicemail. I called Mom. Straight to voicemail. Then Dad picked up on the 3rd ring. "Hey, Maya," he said casual. I heard chatter. Foreign laughter. "Where are you guys?" I asked. "Oh, didn't we tell you?" "We're in Paris," he said, as if saying, "We're at the grocery store." "We just wanted to keep you busy while we planned something real for Addison." He laughed. That laugh closed my throat. The room tilted. The cake I'd designed waited untouched. Frosting glistened under the lights. I opened my mouth. Nothing came out. My chest burned. I felt used. The band packed quietly. The server asked, "Should we cancel the reservation, miss?" I nodded. "Donate the food," I whispered. I walked to my reserved table. 6 empty chairs. I set the wrapped photo album in the center. Pictures of 2 little girls with frosting on their cheeks, laughing under Christmas lights. I turned off my phone and stared at the river lights. For the first time, I didn't cry. Something inside me went still, like water freezing over. I picked up my purse, pushed open the door, and stepped into the cold night air. If they thought I'd break, they were wrong. A week later, the calls came. Then another week, then 30 more. 36 missed calls in 1 hour. Mom, Dad, Addison, over and over. I didn't answer. I sat on my couch and typed one message. "I'm very busy. Then I turned the phone face down and finally exhaled. That week, I did something none of them expected. I printed every bank statement, every receipt, every confirmation email, restaurant deposit, decorations, cake, band, all paid from my account. I slid the paperwork into a neat folder, labeled in red for when they came knocking. I knew they would, and they did. They came with tight smiles and fake shock. Mom's voice went sharp. "You've humiliated us. The whole family's talking." Dad crossed his arms. "You think you can just walk away after what you did?" Addison stood behind them, arms crossed. "You made us look bad." 2 days earlier, I'd sent a simple email to relatives, neighbors, and Addison's friends. I attached photos of the empty restaurant, an untouched cake, chairs set for people who never came. No captions, no rant, just the truth. By morning, whispers became wildfire. Cousins messaged in disbelief. Neighbors stopped waving. Addison's friends unfollowed her. Screenshots spread. I didn't gloat. I worked. I drafted my resignation letter. 2 weeks' notice. No explanation. That night, Tara texted, "The photography course you mentioned, there's still a spot. You should take it." For the first time, I didn't hesitate. I applied. While my parents defended themselves, I bought a one-way ticket to Portland. I found a cheap studio near the art school. Aunt Ellen offered her spare room until I got settled. Each evening, I packed one more box, one more memory I no longer needed. My apartment walls emptied, and my chest felt lighter than it had in years. The day before I left, they came again, this time angrier. Mom slammed a folder on my table. "You stole money from our savings." I didn't flinch. I opened my folder and handed it to the officer standing behind them. He scanned the papers. Every expense came from my personal account. There was no theft. Mom stammered. Dad's jaw twitched. Addison rolled her eyes. "Whatever. You're still dramatic," she said. I smiled faintly. Maybe. But I was also free. That night I wiped dust from my old camera, turned the lens toward the window, and snapped a photo of the city lights. It came out blurry and imperfect and real, just like me. By morning, my phone buzzed again. Dozens of missed calls. I didn't check them. I brewed coffee, watched the steam rise, and smiled. For the first time in years, I had something that didn't revolve around their needs. A dream, a plan, a life. I printed my travel details and pinned them above my desk. Flight, Columbia to Portland. Departure, in 3 weeks. I boxed the party ribbons, unused candles, and extra place cards. I carried them downstairs and left them by the dumpster. Watching that box sit in the sun felt like setting a burden down. A few days later, a knock came. 3 sharp hits on my door. I didn't peek. I opened it anyway. Mom's voice cracked. "Maya, please. People are saying terrible things about us. You have to help fix it." I put my hand on the doorknob. "You taught me to clean up your messes," I said. "But this one is yours." Dad growled, "You owe us respect." "No," I said. "I owe you honesty. You threw that away in Paris." Their footsteps faded down the hall. The sound of them leaving didn't hurt. It sounded like space being made, space I could finally fill. The morning I left Missouri, the sky was gray with fog. My suitcase bumped quietly behind me through the terminal. No one texted instructions, just silence, the good kind. At the gate, one unread message from Mom. "We need to talk. Please come home." I stared at it, then typed 3 words. "I'm very busy." Then I switched my phone off for good. The plane lifted. Columbia shrank beneath the clouds. The farther I flew, the lighter I felt. Aunt Ellen met me at Portland Airport with a warm hug and a thermos of coffee. "Welcome home, kid," she said. For the first time, home felt like a beginning, not duty. In class, the moment I looked through the lens, everything steadied. Each click of the shutter reclaimed a piece of me I'd forgotten. Weeks passed. My parents stopped calling. Addison didn't text. The silence that once terrified me became peace. One rainy evening, I stood on a downtown bridge with my camera, watching streetlights ripple in the water below. It reminded me of that restaurant. Lights, reflections, empty chairs. But this time there was no ache, only quiet gratitude. People ask me what happened after that night. I tell them this. They went to Paris, and I found freedom. Every time I take a photo now, I think of the words that ended everything and began something better. I'm very busy. If you've ever had to walk away from people who took you for granted, tell me in the comments, what did you choose for yourself instead? And don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this one. Sometimes the best revenge isn't anger, it's peace.